Hey there, welcome back to Arms Trade Tycoon Tanks and welcome to Era 3. It is now available, and as such, we're going to be getting 12 new models to mess around with, to try and sell, to get rich with. This is going to be a new playthrough, so it's not lined up with the previous playthrough that I did, but you do get access to the stuff from the previous eras. Whether they're going to be compatible or not, I don't know. Whether or not we'll be creating some fancy or not so fancy new tanks, we shall see, because this game allows you to make all sorts of less than historical tanks. Let's put it that way. And I'm all for it, because the weirder, the better. And, well, let's see what we can find. Alright, we need a company name. My name is Stealth17. The company name is Incredible Arms. Because what we're going to be building is nothing short of phenomenal. Okay, so what do we get? Let's go to the Design Bureau. We have a couple of different design lines. We're getting access to everything Tier 2. We got everything Tier 1. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tier 1s and Tier 2s, to some extent, depending on the contract, are still going to be useful. Tier 3 is... yeah, I doubt it's this one. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. I remember that one. Yeah, we don't have Tier 3s yet. Okay. Very well. We shall go over to research. In research, we're going to find that, especially with firepower, we're going to be getting some very, very nice weaponry. A long barrel AT. We're going to be getting the gas-operated machine gun. We got mobility with all sorts of engines. Flat H12, twin inline 6, twin diesel 6. Okay. Now, structure-wise, what are we going to be getting? We got early casting assembly, but it's locked. Interesting. Why is it locked? Oh, right. I was thinking, we're probably going to start with this one. No, you actually need to research it. So research we shall. And as opposed to previous iterations, you actually need to pay money to research it. It's not much. It's 466 out of 4.5 million, but it's still something. Okay, guys, get to work. It's going to be 229 days. That'll be a while. Okay, do we have any contracts then? Do we have anything to do? No, no available contracts. That's actually pretty good, because that means in that time I can start designing a few tanks that we can sell. Let's see. I want to filter this. I just want to get the Tier 2s, so I'm going to say the Tier 1s are not that interesting. Tier 3s we do not have. Tier 2s then. Last time around, I think everybody wanted light tanks and tankettes. So something to that effect might be useful. We already have this design, and considering that this is probably considered modern, it's probably in the era with all the upgrades and all the latest tech. I'm not so sure there's anything that I can do to improve it. So for the time being, maybe this is pretty much as good as it's going to get. Let's, for example, take the Heavy Independent. Can we actually improve upon this? Well, we can change it somewhat. We got the 1935 Modern, and this is the 1936 Modern with a, well, similar attribute sum. We can send it to the archive, that's nice. Alright. So we got this one, 1936. Yeah, you can just throw different types of engines into something. I'm gonna wait. I'm going to wait and see what sort of contract comes up. Something that's new, at least I think it's new in this version, is trade offices. A trade office means that in this particular part, in Southeast England, I have a trade office. This means I can access tank contracts and lobbying activities. Very nice. So that is going to give me access to their market, if you will. And I can, well, I can try lobbying a contract, but there's nothing available. For other nations, there are contracts available only if you actually set them up as a trade office. So, for example, here, there's an anticipated demand, very high. I'm not sure exactly what France is planning here, but maybe they seek to buy some tanks. It's going to cost me 80k to set this up. Closing it will recoup half. Well, I don't plan on closing it. It's going to cost me 7.5k maintenance. Let's establish that. I also want to do the same thing for the Germans. War is good for business. I also want to set up one for Greenland, because I hear that Greenland is going to be a hotbed of conflict, at least potentially. But let's not dwell on that too much. How about Wallonia? Anticipated demand, very high. I just don't want to burn through all my cash setting up all these supply offices. Italy. Let's go with you. We've got a client here. Yes, well, that's the Brits. Most of the colonial powers had this whole place divvied up between them. So, for example, Gambia. They are expecting this to be a very high demand. Really? They're expecting more than 15 active tank regiments in Gambia. With an economic strength of 1.42k. Compare that to 4.11k for France. That's actually a pretty impressive amount of financial firepower. That's interesting. Alright, so we need to have these trade offices. Mexico. Expected very high. You know, let's just go for it and hope that somebody is actually interested in starting some business. Alright, we have 4.1 now. I'm going to start doing some upgrades to my factory and checking out if I can upgrade the amount of lines on the engineering bureau. Because ideally, I'd have more people working there. I already have a tier 2 office. I can upgrade that to a tier 3. So I cannot have 15 people on a line, but 23. And that stacks with Charles de Gaulle, Charles Gaulle, not Charles de Gaulle. Charles Gaulle is going to allow me to have 35 engineers per line. On the research bureau, I think. This is a bit unclear to me right now, because my engineers are working on 3 different projects, as I have 3 different lines. So, these guys are doing 35, 35, 35. Well, 30. So I need more engineers. Ideally, I'd have more people here. Yes, it's going to be expensive to research things, to be sure. However, I also can potentially get a tech advantage on other nations. So, I'd say doing that is in my interest. Which means we're going to upgrade the ergonomics office. So that's going to cost me some pretty penny. 135k, fine. I don't want to upgrade too much more because I still need to have some money lying around to actually buy some raw materials. Although I do have a stack of some. As well as have the money to hold out for a while I wait for a contract. So let's do just that. Well, Russia unveiled his new military doctrine. In-game, people, in-game. We're going to see them as having new roles for tanks and armored units. And they're also going to be funneling additional resources into modernizing the Army Corps. Okay, that sounds like a profitable opportunity. I like it. Let's have a look at that. Oh, actually, I need to hire some people. So, we need to hire and fire engineers. I have room for more staff. Are these the engineers? Oh, there's only 5 engineers for hire. Huh. Yes, I do wish to proceed. Because I need to have those additional staff work here in the research as quickly as possible, ideally. We have our first contract. Well, potentially. The Brits are looking for a light cruiser tank to meet strict requirements. Tell me, what is it you seek? You seek a tank with mobility. You seek a tank which can do a bunch of soft firepower, so we're not looking for a big turret. And we need a reliable tank. Alright, do I have anything available? I'm thinking something along the lines of the Mark E comes to mind, although this actually has a gun on it. Doesn't have a very high success score. The medium Mark III has a potentially worse success score. I don't think they'll buy that. So that leaves us with the light. Do they want one? Yes, they kind of want one. Okay, that's interesting. What is my competitor going to offer? The Juno 3. I can buy that for 200k. Good lord, that's a lot of money. I know this used to be free, or at least in the previous iteration, I think it used to not be that expensive, but good lord, that's a lot of money. Now, I think it is worth having a look, though, because if I can get the contract guaranteed, so basically buy an insurance policy, I can then make... Oh, is that it? Is that it? You need me to buy 210? Easy. I'll beat 210 easily. And I stand to make 2.6 million from that. Revenue, not profit. Revenue, not profit. I need to have 47 tanks out there. The maximum possible reputation gain from this contract with the corresponding nation. It is going to cause negative reputation effects with Austria, Hungary, and China. Yes, I suppose they don't like it that much. If I could offer them more tanks, that would definitely improve my margins. I'm not sure I can deliver that many. Let's have a look before I send it in. So, they want me to build this tank here, the Mark E. And they want me to build a bazillion of them. It's going to take 110 days if I assign that all to one line. But I have multiple lines, and I have 480 workers available. So I could probably hire a few more. And with that, increase the firepower of my factory, if you will. It is going to be expensive, though. But I can have 2 production lines. And I can pretty much get this contract done in maybe 55 to 60 days. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Is that going to be agreeable to the British? Because I need to make sure that they accept that date. It's currently... oh, it's 3 months. Okay, let's say I'm going to sell them 60 at that increased price. And I need to beat 210, was it? 210. So this ought to be it. If I can get them to them sooner, that'd be great. If I extend the deadline, they're not going to like that, but I can potentially sell them more tanks. I'll take a little bit off the top. There. So I can sell them 71 tanks by June. And I'll sell them 71 tanks. For a profit, well, revenue of 3.7 million. Let's send it in. And let's start building a few. Just to be sure. Because I think they might want some. And if not, I'll probably sell them to somebody else. So let's get to work on these. I'll just build 30. And then I can have the second line, yes, with the additional workers that I still need to hire, working on that. I think that would be agreeable, and hopefully the Brits are going to take my deal. The Brits have accepted, so it's on. They need me to deliver 71 tanks. 31 of those are already in production. No, 30. So I need to build another 41 tanks. Unfortunately, no staff available. We need to get a bunch of workers in here. We need to... oh, there's only 55 for hire? Oh god, I overlooked this. Oh, that was to fire them. Okay. Well, this might cost me some money. This might cost me some money. Okay, people, I need you to work harder. I need to have more people working on this. I'm going to max out this line. That'll save me 1 day. Oh, come on. I need this tanks production to get started. So we're going to build another 41, which is going to take 352 days. That is, however, if nobody else assists, which is not going to be the case. So, I'm going to assign that. Yes, I'll keep working on assigning or hiring more workers. And once these guys are done with their tanks, they can start working over on the other ones. I am interested in seeing if I can save some of this. So, I'm going to say... if I max this out, it's 40... hold on, you're going to get 5 workers. 5,000 days, that's fine. If I max this out, I'm looking at 40 days. If I take 50 workers off, that's going to only increase it by 4 days. If I take 100 workers off, so say 400 workers, it's 50 days. If I take it to 250, even that is actually acceptable. And then everybody else goes here. Yeah. I think that's not terrible. I think that's not terrible. Especially as we can keep pushing more workers towards that project. 275. And this is going to be as many as I can have. See, this is not going to be fast. 116 days is 4 months, a little less. So that doesn't quite work. But just stacking all your people into one big workforce apparently doesn't work out. So we need to split them up. Okay, get to work, people. Can I do something to increase the production of this building? What sort of tank Or rather, what sort of welding hall do you require? Everything. Great. You need everything. Well, better get to work. We're going to be spending some more money. This is definitely going to be doubling down on this contract. I have 4 out of 8 slots, so you also needed a... What was it? A machine... Machine tooling hall? Milling hall, that one. Milling hall. Built that. Rifling hall, yes, we'll need that at some point. Oh, no construction slots? That's new. You could just throw the constructions up as quickly as you could. So we need to fix that. And where does that go? Site management? Construction slots. Build. It's going to take me 46 days, damn. Oh, I first need to do this one. And then start building out the rest of the factories. This is probably to make sure you don't spam buildings like I used to. Now, if it comes to it, I can definitely get a loan for, what's that, $1.5 million? Payoff time, 3 months. Oh, sorry, 3 years. 15% interest. That is pretty high. I don't need it right now. I just like to have options. Okay. Let's continue. We need to get more workers when available. We need to get those workers in there. And we need to make sure that we have the engineering progressing quickly. We have a war between France and Italy. Excellent, excellent. War is good for business. Both nations are mobilizing their forces, prompting fear of a wider conflict. A wider conflict is good for business too. Ah, we have the engineers per line upgrade. So let's spend some more money. Can we get more people? Yes, hello. That's the workers. Yes. I also want to hire more engineers. I can hire 3 more per line, was it? No. I can have... Yeah, I need to hire 24 more engineers. 24 ought to do it. Because then I can max all these lines out and quickly get my research up. That saves me 30 days. That's impressive. And another 40 days off the research. I like it. I want to be a tech mogul and make sure that our tanks are going to be the best tanks. Okay. The military has a campaign between France and Italy. They're rapidly mobilizing. The battles are sure to break out soon. This is going to be very interesting to watch. Especially seeing who throws up a contract first. And probably if I then start to sell tanks to France, for example, Italy is probably not going to be terribly happy about that. I wonder why. So I need to start figuring out who I want to work with. There's the milling hall. That should shave some time off the production. Oh crap, I need to send those workers to work. All of you, go here. Can we hire more? There's 2 for hire. It's not acceptable. We still have plenty of time for that contract, I believe. 85 days. Yeah, we'll make that work. We'll make that work. Not a problem. So, let's get that admin center. No. Not increase the bank loans. The loading screens are definitely faster than I remember. Site management. I want to be able to upgrade buildings faster. Alright. Workers, work. If you need me, I'll be in my office. As we're waiting for some research and for the production to finish, which I'm happy to note we will definitely get done with a margin of error, let's have a look at some other new features. How about the Espionage Center? This is where you can see what other designs are available from the other competitors. We have the Daimler Motor and Gesellschaft. They have 6 designs, no trophies available, that actually goes for all of them. We actually have Rheinmetall. How about that? These guys have apparently all versions of the Fenrir, as well as the Tier. And I'm even seeing some pretty advanced Links Ausführung A. That looks pretty high-tech for the stuff that I'm comparing it to. I can acquire this thing for 6.3 million. I'd love to. And just tear it apart, learn from it, and start selling them myself. Just better and British. Unfortunately, I don't have 6.3 million. What else do we have? We have some American Rock Island Arsenal. That looks like an M3 Lee. FCM. Yep. This is all pretty standard. The Société Frère, the M3 Lee French, and the Models of Design Bureau. Whoa! Hello. Hello, hello. I got 6 new components in the T-34-76 that I definitely would like to get my hands on. How about the Rheinmetall one? Rheinmetall also has 6. The medium Panzerkampfwagen 4. Universal. Damn. How am I supposed to compete with that? I don't think I have any stuff that can really compete with that presently. Next up, we also get access to the Legal Center. This is where you can make sure that your contracts for either personnel, but potentially also, for example, in decreasing somebody else's clauses or somebody else's contract, are going to be improved. So over here, intense lobbying decreases an opponent's success score in a contract. If you can decrease their success score by up to 20%, that is going to make you potentially quite a lot of money. It is, however, expensive. It's 300k to sign and then 55k a month to keep that thing in process. Delivery clause, delivery loopholes extend the duration of contract. That can definitely be useful, especially if you're running short on time. The insider clause, backroom deals lower the cost of contract insights by up to 25%. So you're not paying like 200k as I did before. You'd be paying a quarter less, so 150k. That means you're saving about 50k per time that you're doing it, if the inside cost is always the same. Yet, you gotta make sure that you do it on more than one contract. I see all sorts of interesting combinations happening here. For example, making sure that you have the lobby clause, which makes their tanks more shit, and the insider clause, which allows you to see how shit their tanks are. Yeah, you can definitely get some stuff going with this. You only got 2 active clauses, so it's not like you can spam the whole list. If you're running a little low on labor, you can have a labor clause. Enhanced benefits lead to the increase in the monthly rate of worker candidates. I don't know if I'm going to need that, but it's interesting to have the ability to do so. Lower the cost of acquiring trophy tanks. Publicity among influential circles boosts the monthly rate of engineer candidates. I want to get the lobby clause going. And I'll take the 20%. I can re-sign it, or I can just cancel the whole deal. This was expensive, yes, but I'm expecting a pretty hefty payday fairly soon. We only need 14 more days to complete the production. And then we can just start ship... Well, we can ship the rest, rather, of the tanks. Because I already shipped a bunch over to the Brits. And that should conclude the contract and give me my payday. So, over to the warehouse. We're going to go to the delivery lines, which you now have 3 of, actually. You got 3 delivery lines. Especially if you got more contracts going, this is going to be so helpful. You'll be able to start shipping lots more tanks very quickly. They still have a total order of 41 tanks. Here are these Brits. And how much time we got left? The contract sentence is 25 days. So, that should be feasible if I even use the low one, if only for the fact that they could not ship more than 30 tanks. That's the problem. So I'm probably going to go with the Winkerton and Sons and sign that for 41k. It's going to be 5 days with a delay potential of 8 days. So that would be possible. 13 days. We'll still have a couple of days to spare. Nice. First contract done. And also, research almost complete. We got the light anti-tank cannon. Alright, new military equipment available. Belgium has rearmed its army regiments with new equipment. The 105mm Emily 1935. The increased military funding and strategic planning. Okay. Proceed. There you go. Cha-ching! We got the contract done. We're now at 5.16 million. Light anti-tank gun. Done. What do we got? The next part of the firepower line. We're going to have to make a choice. Increased charge rounds, which is going to give me modern high-power propellant in increased amounts. The sheer velocity it gives it excellent accuracy and anti-tank capabilities. Okay, that's the first tier 3 type of charge we can use. Alternatively, I can pursue the development of a Vickers Mark III. I would rather go the line of having better anti-tank guns, because I think that we're not going to see as much trench warfare, but that's just, you know, how history went. We're not going to see as much trench warfare, and probably a bit more in the sense of mobile warfare. That's what I'm hoping on. So I'm going to go with that line of thinking. Research that. Now, I said there were more buttons available and more features available, and there are. It's not just that legal center as well. It's also a resource holdings. They generate a monthly income of raw materials. How about that? Also, it says you can unlock multiple new holdings by progressing along the achievement bar. What's the achievement bar? Well, it's up here. Achievements. Over here you can see that at the moment I do not really have a whole lot of progress yet. But as it increases, as it fills up, I'm going to be getting extra funds, reputation increases, new administrators available, and potentially new resource holdings, such as a glass factory. I suspect that this means we won't have to constantly buy all of our resources. We'll be able to start just getting them. However, nothing in this world or game is free. So if you want to have, well, I guess a say in Manchester Ironworks, you're going to have to pay up. It's going to give you 3k in, what is that, steel? I imagine? Iron. Close enough. And you're going to pay 6k for that. But you're going to be acquiring that for 250k. So let's say I want to get 3k of steel, sorry, iron right now. I want to get 3k. Well, 3,000. It's going to cost me 6 from Oceania, that is. Their pricing is 2. You got it for 5 if you want to go the Europe route. I think 2 is the lowest. Yeah. So I could get it for relatively cheap here at 6k cash. If I go the route of buying it here, that's going to be the same. I think that it becomes increasingly interesting the more you buy. So if I want to get an income of 7k, I can get that for 12 monthly. And now you're starting to see a very tiny margin of profitability. I don't really think it's good enough. Not for this particular resource, but I might find that later on we'll be able to get some better deals. Maybe we can, I don't know, get a rubber factory going or get a steel plant. These steel plants have different maintenance fees, by the way. Yeah, you're going to be getting some odd numbers here. This is going to cost you $1 million to acquire. Yikes. Interesting new feature. I'm not sure if I'll use it. Also, you got the components compatibility. I'm not sure if this was in, but it should allow you to very quickly start figuring out, okay, I'm going to get this tank. I'm going to use the light tetrarch, and this is going to be compatible. So you don't constantly have to go and look, is this even going to be feasible? This, for example, is not researched, but it might be compatible. Nice feature to have in the game. I think for now, all that awaits us is to get another contract going. Research-wise, we have 2 new options. We got early casting assembly, going to allow for vastly more difficult methods, but cast armor can be made tougher and without obvious points of failures. It is manageable for mass production, but setup costs are still enormous. This could be a nice tech break in order to make tanks more durable. The alternative route is going to be airborne hull, which will give me the light tetrarch. The light tetrarch is definitely not going to be around for a very long time because it does not have a lot of protection. It might have a higher stealth value, and its mobility is definitely going to be pretty decent. I think it's going to be fairly fast, but that lack of staying power might shy some clients away. What we got here? Infantry support hull. The Heavy Matilda. Heavily armored hull meant for infantry support. With heavy armor so thick that it struggles to maintain pace with faster vehicles. So either you can be blisteringly quick and dead, or you can be very slow but alive. But it's going to struggle to maintain pace with faster vehicles. Mobility 151. And you had 187. Armor value, protection 215. And we're looking at frontal thickness of 16. This thing probably laughs at that. Protection 434. 75 front thickness. Yeah. This thing will last. Of course, it doesn't mean that I am going to go for this one and thus will not get the airborne hull, but it's going to be a priority issue. I'm thinking just the infantry support tank first. So, first up, early casting assembly. Gonna take them another 191 days, that's fine. We are not measuring our success in weeks or months, we're doing that in many years. And that also means that this episode has come to a close, because as much as I'd like to show you every new tank in this video, that's a little difficult. So, you're just gonna have to contend with this video, and if you want to watch more, you can either wait a few days, because that's when the next episode is gonna be up, or you can immediately see the next part if you're a channel member. Hit the join button down below, the next episode's already up, and if you want to watch it, well, members get early access. Thank you for watching, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for more.